Welcome to our deep dive, everyone. All right, saddle up, folks, because we are diving deep into this week's V86.
8 races across Åby and Solvalla.
Oh, yeah, and a massive jackpot up for grabs. We've, as always, poured over expert opinions, crunched the stats.
To give you an edge.
That's right. Help you pick those winners. And trust me, there are some long shot contenders in here that could lead to some serious payouts. Okay, let's dive right in. V86 1, Åby. This one's got that sport trappa format.
It might sound a bit intimidating,
It does.
but it just means the horses with, let's say, the best track records start a little further out. Kind of gives the underdogs a head start, so to speak.
Yeah, I like that. Leveling the playing field a little bit.
Exactly. And it makes it even more unpredictable, especially since this one's for mares.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mares can
A
be...
little temperamental.
Yeah, let's just say they can add a bit of spice to the race. All right, let's look at the stats. Kind of Magic FR, Beauty Evo, they look pretty strong.
They do. On paper, at least.
Yeah, on paper, but kind of Magic FR, she's coming back after a break and hasn't been the most consistent.
Okay, so a wild card. Bit of a comeback kid story there.
Absolutely. Now, Citron Diablo and Fabulicious, they're both worth a look too. Citron Diablo actually won her last race at Åby,
Oh, wow.
and Fabulicious has a solid track record there.
Okay, interesting. Now, there's this dark horse we can't ignore, Oris. One expert is absolutely convinced she's going to surprise everyone.
Interesting.
They're pointing to some promising training reports. They say she's in peak condition, maybe ready to redeem herself after, some not so great performances in the past.
It's a bold prediction, but hey, you never know. Sometimes it's those horses with something to prove. They deliver the biggest upsets.
I love that. Okay, let's move on to V86 2. Solvalla is part of the Solvalla series.
Higher caliber of horses here.
All right, and the stats point to potentially a runaway winner, Frankie Bahia.
Dominant force in this race. Got the speed, the experience, the track record. I'm almost thinking about making him a spick.
Whoa, okay. You're that confident.
Well, we got to look at the data, and it's pretty compelling.
It is, and there's this one expert who has been spot on with their Frankie Bahia predictions. It's actually pretty uncanny.
Remarkable, isn't it? But of course, we can't totally discount the competition. Can Brolin, ever-loving, strong contenders.
They are, yeah.
But Frankie Bahia, he's just got that extra edge, that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, hard to quantify sometimes. Okay, real quick though. If the pace is fast, what about Apomorphin? Could he be a sneaky long shot?
If the pace is fast, he could shake things up a little bit. Okay, back to Åby now for V86-3. Another one for the mares. And this time we've got a clear favorite, Michelle W.
Michelle W.
Yeah, she comes into this race with, a reputation for dominance. Her stats are just phenomenal.
Phenomenal, all right.
Especially her win in that previous Swedish race. A little bit of mystery surrounding her last performance. But her potential, undeniable.
Almost like a secret weapon, just waiting.
Maybe.
Okay. Now, what about Madison Square Kiss? I've heard some good things. Could she be a contender?
If she takes the lead, yeah, she could give Michelle W. a real run for her money.
Okay. So it all depends on the start there.
Absolutely. Madison Square Kiss has been improving steadily, and she can definitely hold her own.
Okay. And don't forget, Brilliant Tilly. Could she be a factor here?
If those two favorites wear each other out, battling for the lead, Brilliant Tilly, she could swoop in and steal the victory.
Love it. All right. V86-4, Solvalla. This one's going to be interesting, right?
Exactly. And get this. Most of the horses in this race have single-digit percentage predictions to win.
Oh, wow. So really, it's anyone's game.
It is. It's wide open.
This is where those big payouts come from.
Absolutely. Now, selective calling, he's technically the favorite.
Okay.
But even the experts are hesitant because of a recent gallop.
I see. All right. What about Crunchy Lede?
Crunchy Lede. If she takes the lead early on, she could have a significant tactical advantage.
Okay. Now, there's another horse I'm curious about. OFV Fantasy.
OFV Fantasy.
Yeah, one expert has been following her closely, really believes she could upset the odds.
Interesting. What's intriguing is they're really focusing on her recent training. Noticed improvement in her speed, stamina. Think she's ready for a breakthrough.
Okay, so they've uncovered this hidden gem. A diamond in the rough.
It seems that way.
I love it. All right, and don't forget ASAP, Annie, and Cloud Busting.
Right.
Their odds are low, but their past performances suggest they shouldn't be underestimated.
Definitely not. This race is a prime example of why you have to look beyond just the favorites.
You really do. All right, let's switch gears. Back to Åby for V86-5. Long-distance race, but a smaller field. Only 8 horses. You'd think that'd make it easier to predict, but...
It's actually the opposite.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because there's no clear consensus among the experts. Some are backing Esteban Barr, strong cast performances, good reports from the trainer.
Sorry?
Others are leaning towards Nordesha. Trainer's been on a winning streak lately.
So it's like a real head-scratcher, this one.
It is. It makes it intriguing, though, right? You can do your own research, weigh the opinions, come up with your own strategy.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about Nordesha then. She's got this trainer who's like on fire at the moment. Could that translate to a win here?
It's definitely a factor to consider. And let's not forget about Mexican and Emothi. Both have strong arguments in their favor.
Okay, interesting. So a lot of different opinions on this race.
A lot of different opinions, which is great for you, the listener. You get to really delve in and see what you think.
It's like having all the pieces of the puzzle and you get to try and put them together.
Exactly.
So V86-6 at Solvalla, another Solvalla Syrian race, but as you said, legs to Klassen. Does that make it, I don't know, even more unpredictable than the other Solvalla Syrian races?
It certainly can. These horses, they might be less experienced.
Okay.
But that means they have more room for improvement, more potential to surprise us, you know?
Oh, I like that. Go.
Take Global Fighter, for example. Consider it a top pick by some.
Okay.
But that recent gallop raises some concerns.
Oh, I see.
It's a reminder that consistency can be, well, elusive.
Even in the lower classes.
Yeah.
So Global Fighter, bit of a gamble then.
Yeah, you could say that. What about Snapchat?
Yeah, Snapchat. I've heard some buzz, especially with that top driver.
Yeah, a skilled driver can definitely make a difference, especially with a horse that maybe needs a little extra guidance, you know? Snapchat shown some flashes of brilliance, but needs to find that consistency to really contend.
Okay. Now you mentioned legs to Klassen, full of surprises. Any long shot contenders in this race, V86-6, that you've got your eye on?
There are a couple, yeah. Flea Fire and Anime. Longer odds, but they've both shown they can perform well under the right circumstances.
Okay, so high risk, high reward.
Exactly.
All right, so for our listeners feeling a little adventurous,
A little bit.
Flea Fire and Anime, maybe worth a small wager.
Could be fun.
You never know.
Okay.
Let's move on to V86-7 back at Åby. B Trainer Lop, which means less established trainers, right?
That's right, yeah. Trainers who are maybe earlier in their careers.
Okay. Does that make it harder to predict?
It does, yeah. Adds another layer of complexity. We have less data to work with, fewer past performances to analyze.
So it's really about recognizing potential.
Absolutely.
All right.
Identifying those horses that might be underestimated.
Okay. I like it. We get to put our detective hats on.
Exactly.
All right. So who are the standout contenders in this B Trainer Lop?
Well, one horse that's generating some buzz is Peak of Glory.
Peak of Glory. Okay.
He's been in excellent form lately.
Right.
And his recent performances suggest he's ready for tougher competition.
Okay. But I've also heard Global Flashback is like the one to beat. Is he really that dominant?
He's got experience, a strong track record at Åby.
Okay.
Known for taking the lead early, dictating the pace.
So it'll be interesting to see if Peak of Glory can challenge that.
It will. Seasoned veteran versus the rising star.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Any other horses in this race we should be watching?
Mustang Valley is an interesting prospect. He's had a jockey change recently.
Right.
And that can sometimes, you know, really spark an improvement.
It's like the horse finds a new gear.
Exactly. Like they've suddenly got a new sense of purpose. It's those subtle changes, right, that make it so unpredictable.
Okay, V86-8 at Solvalla to wrap things up. Another Solvalla Syrian race, but this one doesn't seem to have a clear favorite.
It's wide open, several contenders all kind of vying for that top spot.
All right. Well, any horses catching your eye?
One horse I like is Cameron Hills.
Cameron Hills. Okay.
Recent form's been impeccable. String of impressive victories.
Okay. But can he maintain that momentum?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? He's definitely one to watch.
All right. Anyone else we should be considering?
Can't discount Oracle Vixie. Can be a bit unpredictable.
Okay.
But on his good days, capable of beating anyone.
So, clash of styles, consistency versus raw talent.
Exactly. Makes it exciting.
It does. What about Dame Lane? Any chance for her?
Dame Lane, she's been quietly improving.
Okay.
And with a favorable position, could be a dark horse.
I love those underdog stories. Always rooting for them.
But they have the potential to deliver. And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable for our listeners.
Absolutely. We've gone beyond the surface.
We have. Weigh the factors, consider the contenders, and make those betting decisions. But most importantly, remember the real joy of the V86.
It's the thrill of the race.
The anticipation.
The passion for this incredible sport. Happy betting, everyone.